Here we go. Power rankings for week 3, or our third power rankings of the year. We'll just leave it at that. Coming in at number 10 is the Houston Rockets, in at 4-3. Last week, they had wins at Dallas against the New York Knicks, and they lost to Golden State in a game where they were down 31, came all the way back to take the lead, went into overtime, and eventually lost. Kwab, for me, the reason why the Rockets are on here is because there are not a lot of good teams in the league right now, especially in the East. They're 4-3. They have a winning record with an impressive victory against the Mavs where they looked good, an impressive victory against the Knicks, a team that eventually I think will be on this list. Very bipolar right now from the Rockets from what I've watched. I don't know what they are right now. I think they're still trying to figure themselves out. A lot of young talent. Sengun is one of my favorite players in the league. Outside of that, there's really not much else to say. I mean, they're here because of the ineptitude of the East and because they have nice victories.
The last 2 years we've done previews with Will biased Houston, and he speaks about the talent that the Rockets have, and one of his favorite players is Tari Eason. And even though they lost the Warriors, the impact he had that game was ridiculous. And we always talk about how much talent the Rockets have, and it still seems like they're trying to get it together on all fronts. I see a lot of Fred VanVleet backlash this week, but they still have a good team. Again, we have them at 10 for, like you said, different reasons, but I still think they're one of the dark horses when it comes to the West.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they go on a run like they did similar to last year towards the end, and it's all of a sudden you look up and it's oh, wow, Houston's a 4 seed?
Yep.
Okay. Kind of like what the Magic were last year. But right now, they come in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have the Denver Nuggets, also sitting at a 4-3 record, even though it feels a lot worse. Last week, they beat the Jazz at home, beat the Raptors at home, and they lost at Minnesota in a game which they led very late in that game. Minnesota closing on a 10-0 run to shock the Nuggets, I would say. They lose Aaron Gordon, which is not good at all. So I don't know how they're going to be able to handle that going forward. He's one of their most important pieces. For me, again, the 4-3 record, there are a lot of teams underperforming. The Nuggets get a lot more grace from us for the simple fact of their pedigree, winning a championship a few years ago, how good they were last year, even though they were underperforming to start the year. I think teams like the Nuggets, whether it's fair or not for the power rankings, we look at and go, okay, you know what? Even though they might be 4-3, we'll put them over a Rockets team that's 4-3 because of who they are. It's just the truth. So, not really overly impressed with the Nuggets, but they get in at number 9.
Yeah, they're at number 9, but they're in trouble. They're it's just their wins. None of their wins have really been that impressive. They beat the Jazz. It's the Jazz. The Jazz are tanking correctly. See that, Nets? Yeah. That's how you tank. But even their wins, they've been struggling, and now, like you said, losing Aaron Gordon, coming into the season, we're this roster looks it's going to be kind of rough, and I guess you got to blame the GM, Calvin Booth. You have an MVP, you're supposed to help them and surround them with really good talent to make sure your team keeps winning and can be a championship contender. And right now, even though they have, again, arguably could be another MVP season, they just don't look like a championship contender whatsoever. So yeah, we have them at number 9 right now. We don't know if they're gonna be there next week. So
very generous 9, not gonna lie. It's okay, though.
Yep.
Coming in at number 8, we have the Los Angeles Lakers at 4-3. I also think another generous ranking, if I'm being honest with you. They lost at Cleveland. They got absolutely just blown out. And then an embarrassing loss in Detroit. They did beat the Toronto Raptors, but AD having comments about how they need to find themselves. He also hurt himself, so already those injury concerns with AD and his foot are flaring up. LeBron has not played well for most of the season. I think JJ Redick does have a good grasp on an identity and what he wants from the Lakers. Now it's just kind of what are they going to be? Is this going to be a consistent thing? I don't think we jump the shark saying that he's in huge improvement over Darvin Ham. But again, it is a longer season, and we have to be a little more less quick to judge, I think. I think 8 feels okay. I think they'll be around this for the foreseeable future. I don't know if they'll crack the top 5. 8 feels right, though.
JJ is a huge improvement over Darvin Ham, I'll say.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'll say. But, it's just some of the, I guess, we can kind of say that it feels like the honeymoon period is already over, when they started off and we were just okay, wow, they look amazing. Now, some of these wins can be a little concerning, but again, it's early. You kind of see the makeup of the team and what they want to do, and how they want to play, and you just need a little bit more consistency, not just from like LeBron or some of the other starters, but they need to get something from the bench. It feels like a lot of times they go to the bench and it's just goes right down. So again, this is another, like you said, it's a generous 8. So we'll see how it looks as the weeks progress.
All right, coming in at number 7, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves, another Western Conference team that is at 4-3. They beat the Nuggets, they beat the Hornets at home, and then they go on the road on a back-to-back and lose to the Spurs. I'm always somebody who's very forgiving of going on the road on a back-to-back and losing a game, so therefore I don't really penalize them too much for it. They seem like they're still trying to figure out an identity. They're playing a little faster. Anthony Edwards is shooting a lot of threes. Their defensive identity is not completely there yet, but I still think they are one of the better teams in the league. Kwab, your thoughts?
Again, with the whole the NBA shooting too many threes when it comes to, and he's been one of the people everybody's complaining
he
about.
Shot 14 threes against the Nuggets. I was like, God, man, go to the hoop, bro.
But in terms of spacing, without losing Cat is kind of needed, right? It's just a process. And when you have a player like Julius Randle that's going to go downhill and kick out, you kind of have to take the ones that are there. A lot of people are like, yeah, man, just like you said, go to the hoop. A lot of people are like, yo, just go and just drive on 3 people and dunk on them. I'm like, it doesn't always work out that way. We get it, you're super athletic, but yeah, I mean, again, it's been an up and down season. Like, losing such a big piece and bringing another big piece, you lose how you were used to playing the past couple of years, and they're still trying to figure it out. And some of their wins have been impressive. You kind of see how they're trying to play. You see how Julius Randle is adjusting and fitted in throughout the course of a couple of games. So you hope they keep improving, because before the trade, everybody kind of had him as like possibly coming out the West. Now it's like it seems like it's a little bit more question marks, but we like them where we have them. So hopefully they keep improving.
Coming in at number 6, we have the Dallas Mavericks, also at 4-3. They beat the Orlando Magic at home without Paolo Banchero. They just beat them up. But they did lose to the Rockets and the Pacers, 2 decent teams, but good teams at home as well. Every time I want to hop on the Mavericks bandwagon and be like, yo, this team is for real, they go and lose like two games that I think they should win. Yeah. You know, we had them at 3 last week out of respect for making the Western Conference Finals and for looking good in their first couple games. And it's like, I'm giving up on like what to think about this team. Obviously, they're one of the better teams in the Western Conference. I still think they're contenders to win the West. But it's like, come on, like let's pull some. Like, I know it's early, I know it's 7 games, but you're not that new of a team. You know what I mean? Like, you added Clay, you added a few bench pieces, but this isn't like you're the Knicks. This isn't like you're a team that like just totally reshaped itself and you need to know each other. Let's get the ball rolling here, Dallas. Come on.
Feels like sometimes they get more motivated for like the big name games in comparison to like some of the other games where it's just like, okay, they're kind of just going through the motions right now. And that might be a product of like feeling like they know how good they are, which is always very dangerous, like to not just play how you're supposed to play. But like I agree with you. There are times we're like, oh man, I want to be on the Mavs train. Then all of a sudden they take a loss. I'm like, you should have beat that team. You have Wade, and you have a lot of talent. You have more talent than that team, and the way you play, you should have ran that team out the gym. But they are where they are. Maybe they'll get it together as this coming week. So we'll see.
All right, coming in at number 5, we have the Golden State Warriors, first time on the list, and they're in at number 5, 6-1, with wins against the Pelicans, at Houston, at Washington. Again, that Houston Rockets victory, I did a live reaction to that. That would have been such an impressive victory if they didn't blow a 30-point lead. I think my opinion on them would be a lot higher. Not saying they would be higher than 5, but I would be like, wow, this team, look out. And I still think you can say that to an extent. Buddy Hield's having a career year so far. Like you mentioned before, they are incredibly deep. Steph Curry, still Steph Curry. Yep. I don't know if they have that extra playmaker or someone you can give the ball to make something happen in cases of crisis. But right now, the Golden State Warriors are looking like a team that's going to be around. They're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to be an absolute pain to deal with. I think they are for real in that sense. Kwab, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they're for real also. Like we've been talking about how deep they are. They're a deep team. Even against even against the Rockets game where they they had a huge lead and the Rockets came back. You got like significant contributions from like Pazinski, like hit a bunch of clutch shots
Yeah.
during the fourth and overtime. Like they have so many different players that it feels like they can plug in and they play and they. Like I said, it's a net positive. Like Moses Moody, like I could you just go down the list. It just feels like
Wiggins looks good.
yeah,
Is another thing. Yeah.
just a deep team. It just feels like a deep team. So, and it's impressive that they're still winning even without Curry. And previous years, it wouldn't be the case. Curry would go out with an injury for like a couple of weeks or a month, and you just see them just go on a huge losing streak, and Curry would have to come back and try to ride the ship, and then they'll end up in like the play-in. And we all know how that would always turn out. So it's been very, very impressive how they look this season. That's why I'm shocked that people are saying that their start has been fraudulent. Like, what are we talking
Yeah,
about?
I'm shocked too, especially a Steph Curry led team. Like you know what that dude can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. What is wrong with y'all? All right, coming in at number 4, we get the Phoenix Suns at 6-1, wins at Los Angeles against the Clippers, against the Blazers and against the Sixers. My note with the Suns is Kevin Durant is still an unbelievable basketball player and just an absolutely absurd human being at scoring the basketball. They do look better. I think the additions of Jones and Monty have helped a little. I don't think it's like dramatically changed them in any type of way, but they are healthy. They are playing together, and Kevin Durant's just playing out of his mind. And I feel like since he's been to Phoenix, people are just kind of like, nah, it's KD, whatever. Like there hasn't been a lot of hype around him. I mean, last year he was having a phenomenal season too, and nobody was talking about it. Yeah. So I want to give it a shout to KD. Suns in at number 4.
Yeah, like I'm on number 4. If a team has KD and Devin Booker, even Bradley Beal, you're gonna have a chance. And
Right.
some of the additions they made, shoring up the point guard position, which was a question mark previous seasons, has been positive. Now the main issue I keep seeing, especially on Phoenix Twitter, is their big man issue with Nurk not really having that good of a season. So if that can be kind of fixed. Like it's the ceiling is very high for the team. I think like any team with KD and the way KD is so efficient, you're gonna have a chance. You're gonna have a chance any given night.
All right, coming in at number 3, we have the 8-0 Cleveland Cavaliers moving up a spot. Now I know they're undefeated. I get it, Cleveland. I don't think we have the heart or the guts to put him over Boston yet. So sorry about that. But shout out to y'all again. Just to give Kenny Atkinson a shout out, I think he's completely changed the way this team plays. Different offense. Evan Mobley is taking a step forward. Jared Allen seems like he's having a better season. Darius Garland is, having a good year right now because he's healthy. And I like Cleveland. I do. I think they're going to be around for a while. I don't think they're better than Boston, but right now, by far, the second best team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, Cleveland looks good. You do what you're supposed to do, which is win. They've been winning.
Yeah.
And you beat who's in front of you, and it's been the Bucks. Sorry, Bucks. You gotta get it together. But again, like they have their starting lineup has been look great with the backcourt and the front court. Even their benches look good, like you said. The tweaks and adjustments that Kenny Atkinson has made in terms of their play style has helped. They play a lot more faster than they used to, which we always talk about was a gripe of us because we're like, you have the guards, you have the athletes, you take so long to get into your offense, and that seems to be completely different this year. So, yeah,
right.
they're a top team. They're the top team. Technically, they're the number 1 team in the East, but we have them as the number 2 team in the East.
Right. And coming at number 2 on cue is the Boston Celtics, 7-1. They beat the Hornets twice. They beat the Hawks. They lost to Indiana, who seems to give them problems. In the playoffs, like the series last year was a sweep, but it was a closer series than the outcome indicated. I know they lost. I get that the Cavs have a better record, but I don't think they're a better team than the Boston Celtics, if we're being real here. They drop a spot from 1 to 2 because the other team is playing out of their minds, who we put at 1, and I guarantee you can guess who it is right now. But Celtics, to me, man, they're the best team in the East. I think it's going to be that way for a while, unless they go on a big losing streak and we have to have a discussion about them. I don't think they're going to move out of the top 2 unless Cleveland, really, we're talking 3 weeks from now, and Cleveland's 16-1, then it's like, okay, maybe we can have that discussion.
Yeah, agree. Boston is just really good. Like you can't. It's ridiculous. It was actually shocking the Pacers beat them, but the way the Pacers played was the reason why they were able to beat them. Just really fast. Just anytime
Yeah.
any misses, they were just going at them. I don't think a lot of teams can replicate that. So they're going to be tough to beat throughout the course of the season. So I'll be shocked to see when they get their second loss, but they look good.
All right, and at number one, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. They beat the Spurs, the Blazers, the Clippers, and the Magic last week. Haven't won a game by less than double digits, which is like insane. It's insane. No notes. They play great defense.
No
They
notes,
shoot the
not
three.
insane.
They have playmakers. They at every position. Isaiah Hartenstein hasn't even played. There's not much to say. Every time we come back to the end, like of the power rankings, and we get to like 1, 2, and 3, it's always just like they're really good, and that's it. Like that's all I have to say. Just no notes. Like what else is there to say about the Oklahoma City Thunder right now?
Just exactly like they look great. Cheddar's taking another step. He's in the discussion of defensive player of the year. Like a lot of us had like we thought it was going to be like a sweep with Victor Wembanyama, but Cheddar's been playing great on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Shea's having another MVP caliber season. They defend, they score, they're young, they're fun. Like you said, Isaiah Hartenstein hasn't even seen the floor, and that he addresses so much of their problems that they have.
Yeah, problems.
Problems, exactly.
Every game by double digits, you have problems.
The
Like, first world problems, am I right?
Like the problems they have, like, oh man, they just need a little more. Like, yeah, they got that. When he gets right, you gonna see. So it's like how, like they're the number one team now. A deep bench of young players. They bring players off the bench that help. Like Caruso has been making such a great impact. I still can't believe that they made that trade just straight up for Josh Giddey and didn't give up a pick again. I'm still gonna harp on that.
Man.
What? I'm sorry. What you say?
From what I've watched, Giddey's been doing all right. From what I've watched, I haven't watched many Bulls games, so I don't want to like definitively make the statement that Giddey's been doing great. But from what I've watched, he's been playing okay.
That's not the point. It's just like that's the Bulls.
Yeah,
need to be investigated for malpractice. That's all I'm saying. Like,
got you.
People were offering like multiple picks for Caruso, and they were like, "Nah, we'll just do a straight one-on-one trade." That trade happened. We all got that notification, and I know everybody waited on their phones, like, "Oh, what else is in the trade?" Nothing.
Okay.
That's it.
Thanks, Shams.
Hey, thanks. So like they like OKC looks great. They look amazing. So I mean, we'll see how the season progresses. They look like the team that's going to come out the West, honestly. So
Yeah.
they amazing. They look amazing.